4?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you could easily get a top 1 or 2 for Harper. I mean, think of it this way: would the Red Sox, if they needed him, say we didn't have Mookie Betts last year, or even this year, do you think they would give up Kopech and Moncada for Bryce Harper?
No, not for a rental. I don't think.
No, with the option side. Say we don't have Mookie Betts. Say Panda's coming off the books, Hanley's coming off the books. We need a right fielder. We need a big bat.
Desperation is a hell of a drug.
Yeah, that too. I just think if we didn't have the team that we had, it's a possibility. I mean, even people a couple of years ago were talking about Bryce Harper coming to Fenway with his swing, with Ortiz leaving, and JBJ.
That short porch.
Yeah, short porch. JBJ's been on the way out since he came in. That outfield, Mookie, Tendy. This is even before Tendy came up. So people were talking about it then. The Cubs, they need to move some money around to make that happen, and maybe Jason Hayward having a career year again is going to help out with that. Maybe they can get him to get traded or something like that. But, I think Harper needs to be traded. I don't think he will, but he.
Well, here's the thing, and I'm not saying I think this would happen, but it just kind of, as you guys were hashing it out, it just kind of popped into my mind. He's a Boris guy. Jackie Bradley's a Boris guy. I think Boris would love Bryce Harper to play a half a season with the Boston Red Sox. I mean, because unless it's the Yankees, and it could be, I mean, they could make that move, but nothing's going to increase Harper's value than him playing for one of these two teams. So what if Boris just kind of gets together with Rizzo, gets together with Dombrowski, and says, look, let's move some people around here. And JBJ would be the odd man out anyway, and some teams might value him. I mean, he's been hitting out of his mind, the last 4 or 5 weeks, and maybe that's a selling point. I think he's gonna bat under 150 for the month of August. That's where I am on him, because he just
that's higher than you thought today.
He's a cliff diver, but
hit him, Dave.
No. He texted me and said JBJ's going to bat .87 in August, and I said, "Oh yeah, then he's going to bat 300 in October." And I put in parentheses, "Please, I pray he does."
Yeah, and the other thing about him, he's just not going to hit guys like Kluber, Verlander, Severino, those type of guys. He's just
40, 250 hitter and up and down, but he does have a lot of value in the National League specifically. He's the best defensive center fielder in baseball. I don't care. You at me at it, change my mind. And he's quick, he can steal bases, and he can hit in the bottom of your lineup and cause some problems. He definitely would have value to other teams. And a team like Washington that plays in the National League, that has a pretty big ballpark, he would look good out there.
Yeah, and
I told Chris today, I was like, Jackie Bradley is Kevin Kiermaier if Kevin Kiermaier could hit sometimes.
Sometimes. And Kevin
Kiermaier
would get a bunch of money to go play in Tampa Bay.
It's almost like Evan all over again.
Yeah. For that hypothetical, though, with the Red Sox and the Nationals, you still have to give up the elite prospect, too. I don't know if that's...
multiple. You'd have to give up Groom, Chavez, JBJ, and somebody else.
I think Chavez, however he pronounces
Chavez.
it.
I think it's that. You know me names. I'm not good.
I was just thinking about your thing with the Braves. Remember that? That was so funny.
God, it was so bad.
Austin, did you hear that, Austin?
Which one?
Well, I think that was the first time I brought in another writer with you, Dave. So that was like it was your first time. Him and I were discussing the Braves rotation, and we get to Fultonevich. And
Fultonevich?
Yeah, he botches it, and I'm like, no, it's Fultonevich, and he repeated it back to me perfectly. He goes, oh yeah, Fultonevich, and then like 30 minutes later, we're on we're doing the segment with the lady that writes for the SB Nation blog for them, and Dave's like, so how about Fultonewski? So funny.
It was like Fulton Nowinski, and I was just like, no, wait, what is it? It's so Fulty. Fulty's been great.
Yeah, right.
Fulty.
yeah, that was a good way to do it. I just laughed. I mean, it didn't really mean anything, but
Oh, this is my daily life. Like, I'm a teacher. Like, I go in, I look at the roster, and I'm like, oh god.
You're like, oh shit. How do I say that?
Who's got the long H name? Yep. Okay, Hector. Yeah, it's Hector. Oh yeah. Okay, Hector. You got it, bud. That's your new nickname. You're gonna love it. And he's like, okay.
I used to be
my favorite is Cespedes, though.
All right. I got it.
Yeah, you watch that one too sometimes.
Oh, hey, speaking of Cespedes, remember last time we literally laughed on this podcast and said, I can't believe the Mets GM, whoever it was, said, assistant GM, whatever, said the last option for Cespedes is surgery. And today, Cespedes, I did it that time. I got it that time.
Yeah, you got it that time.
Cespedes had surgery today, or he's having it tomorrow.
Yeah.
What a joke ever.
Welcome to the Mets segment of Avid Boston. It's a weekly thing at this point.
Mets radio. I wish we had a Mets guy. Like, we had Chris, the big Yankees guy. I wish we had Chris, but the Mets.
Yeah. just like, man. Just have Frank the Tank. Like, somebody like Frank.
Just someone that's, like, super passionate and just all done.
Who's going to win the World Series? The Mets. It's like, what?
Yeah, the Mets. Oh, yeah, sure.
I wish there was optimistic Marlins fans.
Yeah, you always got those. Terry, back on the Bryce Harper thing, I would do it if they took David Price.
Come on.
Yeah, I don't know if that's possible. I would do it in a second. I'd give up. I'd put Mookie in the deal if they would take Price.
I got mini triggered there.
I'm just
I don't
kidding.
like that.
I think I just had a stroke. What'd you say?
No, I'm just kidding. No, I wouldn't put Mookie in the deal, but I do hate David Price. And, yeah. And about Chavez, before we went on that Fultonowski, tangent.
Let's go.
With Chavez, he's got Chris Colabello written all over him,
Worse than that. He's not off the steroids. It's just, to give him up right now where his value is the highest for like a 1-for-1 trade like Eovaldi today would be a loss. You got to get a higher level person or package him to get the big name. I don't know what the big name is, but say for Britton, say it was Chavez and Beeks and somebody else, then that's worth it. But for an Eovaldi, for a Steckenrider, for someone like that, you got to get more out of it.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that we should necessarily sell low. I'm just saying I don't have any confidence in him. So it's not going to hurt me. It's not going to hurt me regardless of how he's traded and what manner. I'm not feeling like we're getting a loss there. And I mean, if he was connected to the Zach Britton trade, that tells me that other teams do sort of value him. So
the Red Sox and magicians are at making other teams obsess over our prospects. We hype them up so much that other teams are like, this guy's got to be the best thing since sliced bread. Like, Moncada was hyped up to be the next, like, Francisco Lindor on steroids. He's just not that type of player. Kopech was, going to be the next Chapman. He's probably not the next Chapman. It's just we do a really good job of hyping up these players. And obviously we have the prospects. I mean, look at Benintendi. He was a first-round pick. Even Devers, he was not hyped up to be anything great. He was going to be something in 5 years, but he's here now. But we do a really good job at our trade chips that they get hyped up really well.
Yeah.
R.I.P. to the home runs today, by the way.
I know, they're all gone.
I'm so pissed off.
Because I'm playing Benintendi in fantasy, and I need to win this week to pick the playoffs, and he's got 6 points, so they need to get rid of that.
It just thoroughly upset me, the fact that I got a home run taken away from me today. I was like, it's been so long. He hasn't hit one in a while, and then I got all excited. I made the Benny Bomb post.
You did.
Now I don't know what to do.
Now you just gotta cry a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Can we talk about Benintendi going to be a 300 average guy, a 20-plus home run guy, a 20-plus stolen base guy, and a damn good defensive left fielder at like 23 years old?
Stud.
And,
this kid's a real...
he kind of slips through the cracks. Mookie and JD get a lot of the glory, and he's just quietly putting together a really good year.
After an abysmal start to the season, too. Like, the first month of the season, like, Terry, I don't think I knew you then, but I guarantee you people, not us, or not you, but people on sports radio are like, yeah, just put this guy down Pawtucket for a little bit. Let him figure it out.
I was the idiot. Well, I thought at the time, I was like, I'm such a fanboy. I was like, I think he's going to finish top 10 in MVP voting. And I might not be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I advocated it with Devers for a little while, but he had a high OBP regardless, so he was getting on base.
He was just, every time he hit the ball, he was rolling over the second. He had JBJ disease for a little bit.
Yeah. And, I mean, I really didn't lose confidence in him because he would have had that slump last year if he was... Like, I knew he wasn't a fluke, basically, is what I'm saying, and I knew he would get it, and I still feel that way. And he's a really quiet guy. He doesn't really like the limelight. You know, he's not like... We don't really have many players on the team who are, actually, but...
not a Harper or anything like that.
Yeah.
He's a very... You know what? I think that has a lot to do with him being best friends with Brock Holt, and kind of, you know, Holt does his business, and stuff like even JD, as being a biggest superstar as he is, has been. I mean, the average fan did not know how good JD Martinez was before he got here.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I think, speaking of being that good, I just saw a stat on Twitter. The most home runs since 2016 is Chris Davis in Oakland.
Really?
Yep, he has 111 since he joined the Oakland Athletics in 2016. Behind him is Stanton at 109.
And what was the time frame for that? 2 years?
2016 when Chris Davis got to Oakland.
Oh, okay.
So
I feel like ever since he's got there, he's been crushing it. I didn't realize it was that much.
The only problem is he bats 220. But
yeah,
he's that player that bats 220 that hits, you know, like you said, 40 home runs a year. But, you know, you look at Chris Davis, the other Chris Davis, on
bad one,
more, who bats 120 and hits 10 home runs or 20.
Chris with the C.
Chris with the C and Chris with the K.
And that was a terrible deal anyway, but it just, that whole team has quit, I think, is what's going on there. And
100%. Davis doesn't even look, Chris Davis on Baltimore does not even look like he's mentally in the batter's box. Right. I don't know if you guys have watched, like, his batting or his highlights this year or anything like that, or his lowlights, I guess, when you see him strike out on SportsCenter or something, but I've never seen someone look more disinterested. That's like a big time guy.
Right.
Like I've never. It's amazing. I think the whole team did quit, Terry. I think you were on that track a couple weeks ago, and I got right on it with you. That I agree. I think that team is so mentally done through all aspects. And after this trade deadline, they're going to go plummet even more.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, we're going to have to replay them. You know, tonight gets wiped off, like we were saying, and they're probably not going to have Scope. They're definitely not going to have Adam Jones. They're going to lose one of Gausman or Bundy. I know Colorado is interested in Gausman, but so that's going to be a much worse team by the time we get back to them.
And, 100%. And they're going to be just done. Like they want to get out of the season. I think Tampa Bay is one of those teams that wants to play spoiler. I think the Blue Jays
they love that shit.
But right now, this Orioles team doesn't. They usually do, but not right now. Also, I think I saw a trade that that last name.
Yeah, Sungwon Oh or whatever his name is.
Yeah, from Baltimore. Went to, from the Blue Jays. Colorado, I believe.
Yeah, Blue Jays to Colorado is what.
Yeah, that's a good trade for them. Also, Oakland has, never mind. They had runners on third with no outs, and then now all of a sudden they have 2 outs. So looks like somebody got thrown out at home.
Still 5-4.
Yeah, still 5-4.
Yeah.
They just had somebody on third base.
I'm a big Oakland fan. Like, I would love to see them win a World Series as long as it's not at our expense. And even if they did beat us in the ALDS, I mean, I'm not above rooting for them after. I mean, I did it last year with the Astros, and
yeah, I did it as well last year. I was pumping for the Astros.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, well, you're from Texas, so you gotta deal with it.
Ugh. There's more Astro fans at Coors this series than there is Rocky fans. It's crazy.
Speaking of that, they're tied 2-2 right now in there.
And that's another team that I would just love to see get there. I mean, Mark DeRosa on MLB Live. Oh, did you guys see my tweet got on there yesterday?
Yeah.
Or 2 days ago.
Or something.
That was so cool. I've sent like 7 or 8 of those, and 2 of them have gotten on. And I thought
it wasn't the one that I thought was going to get on either. I was like, they put that on the screen? I was like, all right, cool.
What one did you think was going to get on?
Well, I don't know. I was just saying, like, they could have picked any tweet, and they picked